This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com with a special Christmas edition of my weekly review of the news I find interesting in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter. And if you want to help this channel out and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and like this video. And while you're at it, follow the Hannibal TV Facebook page, where we post pretty much all of the same videos on there as well. We're also on Twitter at the Hannibal TV, but let me jump into the news. Pretty big news week. The main news for the Canadian fans is due to the province of Quebec's lockdown that they're going through right now. The house show in Laval has been rescheduled from this week to March the 6th, from next week. It was supposed to be December 30th. There had been 6,000 tickets sold for that, which is a pretty good number for WWE. So that's unfortunate for them. According to the Observer, there's been a bunch of talent testing positive for COVID recently. Number of NXT wrestlers and supposedly some on the main roster as well. Overall, the WWE's holiday tour ticket sales have not been great compared to previous years, and AEW's December 29th show in Jacksonville has a week advance, and apparently the Madison Square Garden house show, which is usually one of their biggest house shows of the year, if not their biggest, only has a little over 5,000 tickets sold right now. And that's taking place on December 26th. Is it any shock if you have Kevin Owens in the main event that in a market as big as New York City, you can only sell 5,000 tickets to your biggest house show of the year? Alberto Del Rio has been found innocent of all charges filed by his ex-fiancée. He also says that he has footage that could get Paige fired from the WWE if she ever talks about him in public again. WWE has put out a needle mover t-shirt for Roman Reigns, and apparently some people find this funny because the needle has been moving in the wrong direction for WWE's television programs as far as ratings go in recent years. I already reported this earlier in the week. Vince McMahon is selling his Greenwich, Connecticut house for $32 million. He bought the house in 2014 for $11.84 million. The estimated house payments are about $163,204. That's a little out of my price range. Corporal Kirschner, who also played Leatherface and Super Leather in Japan, passed away from what's said to be a heart attack on December 22nd in Silver City, North Carolina. He was only 64 years old. In 1985, Vince McMahon gave him the gimmick as a military gimmick to replace Sergeant Slaughter, who had a falling out with the company based on a merchandising deal that he had with G.I. Joe. Kirschner had been a bouncer and a mechanic when he met Hulk Hogan at a gym in '81 and asked Hogan how to become a wrestler. He started training with Vern Gagne and Brad Rheingans, but it didn't work out. He later trained with Rusty Brooks. He started off as a enhancement talent with WWE, and he was wrestling under the name R.T. Reynolds. Then he basically went straight into the Army gimmick after that, and the WWE just ignored that he had been an enhancement wrestler. Apparently, he eventually was supposed to feud with the Iron Sheik, but it didn't really work out. He did wrestle Nikolai Volkov a lot, though, and famously defeated him in 2 minutes. WrestleMania 2 from the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago. He never got a huge push that they were originally planning for him. He basically fell into the pro wrestling star of the 80s lifestyle, did a lot of partying, cocaine, and steroids, which led to him failing a drug test and getting a divorce. He then went to Stampede Wrestling in Calgary, but he got in a bar fight where he beat somebody up really bad, had to leave Canada. In 92, he started as Leatherface, based on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre character in the Wing promotion in Japan, where he worked and had some success. He had been working as a truck driver for the past 20 years or so before he passed away. In ratings news, Dynamite this week did a 0.37 rating, and the show had 5,200 paid fans. NXT did a 0.11 rating. Raw did a 0.38 rating, second lowest rating ever. Kevin Owens, of course, heavily featured on that show. Only 3,900 paid, and that was with 2-for-1 tickets. Rampage did a 0.23 rating. Impact did a 0.02 rating. SmackDown did a 0.52 rating. And they had 8,700 paid from the Allstate Arena in Chicago. AEW has announced the Owen Hart Cup will be separate for both men and women's tournaments, and the tournament is going to start in the spring, with the finals being on Labor Day weekend at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view show. In other news, I've talked about this a lot, and I did put the link in the description for the whole referee spike accident that involved me, that I'm regretful about. And I did put the link, if anyone hasn't seen it, to my statement on it in the description of this video. The Observer also did a story on it this week. Of course, it made national and international news somehow. But one thing that has been said a bunch of times, and the Observer wrote it, that the referee of the match jumped in and pulled the referee that was involved in the spike angle out of danger. Well, anyone that's seen the video can see that it was Blaze that was the one that pulled me off, as was scripted. The referees were standing on the outside doing nothing. They were actually supposed to be in the ring the whole time trying to stop me until Blaze pulled me off. So this hero referee that pulled me off, where is that in the video? This is the same referee that claimed the match went short when in fact it went about 9 minutes, which is long for a Blood Hunter match. He averages about 7 minutes long. Carlito had no problems with the match. He thanked me for it the next day. So, and as far as the people making a big deal that I did not change with the wrestlers, yes, I changed in my friend's RV. I was an investor in the show. I don't see why I should have to change with their other wrestlers in Great North Wrestling. I have my own dressing room. If I'm actually putting in money to help fund the show, and unlike these wrestlers that are just showing up, I was working on the whole promotion of the show, as you guys saw from this channel, etc. If I want to change in my own dressing room, I don't care if the other wrestlers are jealous. But there's a lot of hearsay and false information that's been reported. And as I said, my statement is in the description of the video. Unfortunate accident. This is the last I'm going to say on it. In MMA news, George Masvidal says he's off the injury list and ready to fight again. Get into some of your questions. That's the main news. Merry Christmas to Al, and Merry Christmas to all my wonderful fans and supporters out there. Lots of Merry Christmas wishes. Appreciate it.